Hi, Eric. How are you, and where do we find you at this very moment?
Doing good. I'm in Rome, Italy, for the Italian Open. Just entered my third or fourth bubble at World Team Tennis, Lexington, Cincinnati, US Open, and now here. So getting used to the new world. Today was our first day out there on the red clay. Facility over there is beautiful. Courts are great. So, made some changes to our game in quarantine time. And I think I think those changes will be very helpful for that clay court season.
What is it like to play without fans at the moment?
It's different. It's almost like a junior tournament where, there's a couple people there, but they're mostly people in the tournament watching the match. So the Lexington was kind of an intimate atmosphere and very different than the US Open. The US Open, it was tough because you have artificial fans. You got the scoreboards with people cheering. So it's very different. You lose a little bit of that personal feel, but in the end, you gotta adjust. Champions adjust to anything, and you gotta make the adjustment. And it's better to have tennis than not have tennis.
Venus lost her match to a younger tennis player of 24 years old, Karolina Muchova. Mm-hmm. What more did Karolina had in this game, do you think, in your opinion?
I think she's a very good player. A lot of variety, she's slice well, good shape to her forehand, good looking serve. And, a match like that, it could go either way. I do think it's tough, for anybody to have that type of matchup right out of the gates. And she played a good match, Karolina, I wouldn't say Venus played bad, and it just came down to the big moments, and Venus didn't come through in those big moments. And, I'm confident that next time around that Venus will learn and she's going to come through.
Venus said after the game that she still keeps motivated since day one. How does she do it, and how do you support her in these difficult moments?
Yeah, I mean, she's, watching her play over since quarantine. I think it's clear that she's definitely playing better tennis since before the quarantine. And, she did make some changes, and she's only had 4 matches. So I think as she gets more matches, and, we'll see. And if she can work her way into a tournament, I think it'll start clicking a little bit. It's just like any sports team. Like you could see an NBA team go through a little losing streak, but once they get their momentum, you're seeing my hometown Miami Heat. They had some rough patches through this year, and they came together at a good time, and boom, hopefully they're on their way to an NBA championship. So hopefully, we learn. We've obviously improved, and we got 2 tournaments coming up, and we'll see if we can make some fine tuning into these 2 tournaments.
We saw her sister yesterday, Serena, facing the Bulgarian Svetlana Pironkova in 3 sets, and she won. Do you think that in some way mothers in tennis have progressed better lately? We saw Pironkova, we saw Serena.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I have 3 kids, so, it changes your perspective on the world, right? And it gives you a better value of your time and, how every moment counts. So I think whether you're a mother or a father for that matter, you see some of the guys on the tour, whether it's Federer, Djokovic, Murray, I think parenthood brings another level of maturity and appreciation for being on the tennis court, because it's not easy being a parent. It's the greatest thing that you could do, but I think it's definitely something that not only brings a challenge, but also can improve you, mentally. So.
Bulgaria's best men tennis player at the moment is Grigor Dimitrov. What's your opinion of Grigor?
Um, I've talked to him a few times at some different tournaments, seen him train. I remember going down to the gym myself to work out in China, and guy's an absolute animal in the gym. So running on the treadmill backwards, side shuffling, you know, out of everybody I've seen, I'm sure there's some other people. I've never seen anybody physically work harder than him. You know, as far as technically, I got a one-handed backhand, so love the one-hander, and he's a great player. I think he's got some great years ahead, and you know, just like anybody else, I think it's going to be, you know, he'll have maybe one tournament where it really clicks, and I think he'll be elite at that top for a long time.
In the reports at the moment, it was said that Novak Djokovic, as well as a few other players, have created tennis union association. What's your view on that, and how much do you know about it?
I really don't know the details, you know, so it's hard for me to really give an opinion on it one way or the other. But you know, I think it's overall it's not a bad idea, considering that most you know, most professional sports, they do have a players union. I do think the timing's a little tough, you know, considering we're in a pandemic, and you know, tournaments are just like players are suffering without the revenue from fans. But you know, overall, I do think it's a good idea. It's just like any idea, it's how you implement and execute is going to be the key for them. So I don't know the details, and let's see. I hope they've got some good people behind it, and I hope they're successful with it.
The ATP was mentioned, but do you think that the WTA will also take part of it?
It's hard to tell. You know, like you got the NBA and the WNBA, you got women's soccer and men's soccer. So should they join together? It's hard to tell. There are some tournaments where they're together, but there's a lot of tournaments where you just have a WTA tournament and you just have a men's tournament. And I think it's good for the WTA to have its own identity and the ATP to have its own identity. And as far as a union, you know, that's the players have to come together to see it in their best interest and work together for those things. So I think obviously a good amount of the men feel that way. You know, I don't have an incredible pulse on whether the women share the same sentiment or not. So we'll see.
What would you say was your break point in your personal life and in your professional life?
I wouldn't say there's necessarily one break point one way or the other. You know, my whole life I've, you know, just progressively worked at things, you know, and I trained hard as a player. You know, I went through my 4 years in college, captained the team for 3 of those years. At the tennis club in Miami, tennis director for 10 years, and I was on the court, I'd say at the minimum 10 hours a day, upwards to 14, you know, working with juniors, and those hours of experience, you know, get you able to deal with different personalities, mindsets, and how to adapt each player to reach their maximum potential. So, you know, I think just as anybody in any career, you got to take each day and build and learn and work your hardest, and you know, good things will come. There's no shortcut, no necessarily a break one way or the other.